some voices started to creep in my head. The negative voices started to creep in my head as my legs were getting a little bit more fatigued and sore. I was huffing and puffing a little bit. Moral of the story, these sort of negative voices started to, I guess, become more apparent in my hinengaro as I started to fatigue coming up the maunga here. And one, I guess, good reflection point and an example that you fellas can use is that I adopted as I was climbing up here was, as soon as I started to hear those voices or those thoughts in my head of, oh man, how long do you have to go? You know, how long is it even worth it to go to the top? All these voices started to come to my hinengaro, and they'll, negative voices like, just, stop here, have a rest, turn around, it's not worth it, it's getting later, whatever. The negative thoughts started to creep in my head because of my body was getting fatigued. The difference is now that I've trained my body and my mind to work in unison, to work together and in alignment. Now that I've trained my body and my mind to, try to work together as best as they can, as soon as those negative voices start to creep in, I start to auto-suggest, and I start to suggest positive affirmations into my psyche, into my hinengaro, as soon as these negative voices start to creep in. Now you can use this concept of auto-suggesting or suggesting and reinforcing positive affirmations to those negative ones. For example, as I was climbing up the maunga, just stop, turn around, man, your legs are getting tired. All those sorts of whakaaro started to creep in my head. Instead of playing victim and playing into those, I guess, thoughts, those negative thoughts of I'm tired, my legs are jacked, my legs are getting sore, turn around, I don't know how much further I've got to get to the top. Should I just, do a U-turn and head back down to the bottom, etc. As soon as those thoughts came to my psyche and to the forefront, instead of letting those run rampant on me, I became aware and conscious of when those thoughts started to creep in and come to the forefront. And what I did about it was pretty much I started to suggest positive affirmations, and I started to reinforce positive affirmations into my psyche, and pretty much reframe and change all of those negatives that were running through my head as I started to fatigue. So hopefully you can adopt this sort of, I guess, method of suggesting or auto-suggesting into your routine when you are starting to fatigue, in your workouts or when you're starting to fatigue in life, or whatever situation it may be. Start to suggest and reframe, reinforce positive affirmations into your psyche, into the forefront of your brain when these negative voices start to become apparent, especially when you start to fatigue. That's when all those, I guess, whakaaro start to creep in. So atu I tērā whānau, hopefully you get something out of this kōrero, but I wish you well, and hopefully this kōrero resonates with you and helps you on your journey of where you're trying to get to. Ngā mihi.